Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aspiring fingerstylists all over the world, a man that needs absolutely no introduction, a man whose name is pretty much synonymous with fingerstyle, Mr. Tommy Emmanuel.
There you go. Hey. Thank you, Joseph.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a lot of fun. This opportunity. So thank you for agreeing to get interviewed here on Licknriff.
That's what we do.
Yep.
We like to communicate around the world.
Yeah. Not everybody apparently, but
I like to. That's for sure.
Yeah. So how have you been during this surreal year?
Well, I've been up and down. I've had some tough days, like everybody else, and I just had to, lean on my friends and lean on my family and hang in there.
Yeah.
I've been playing. I haven't been writing like I normally do. I haven't felt inspired to write, but I've felt inspired to play, and so I've been playing every day, and playing for friends, and I've been shooting videos, teaching how to play some of my songs, and those are fun to make. And my manager has a good setup at his house in his office, and we just go in there and he films me and I talk and I pick which tunes I want to play, and then I dissect them for the person who's on the website.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping myself busy doing that, and doing different recording things. I've got some new music coming out, and I've just released an EP of John Lennon's Imagine, which had two. It's a 3-song CD, and two of the songs are my original songs, and of course a work of John Lennon's Imagine, the most important song ever written about peace, and so a beautiful melody to play.
The Beatles, correct me if I'm wrong, the Beatles have been one of your great inspirations, right?
Totally, still are. I still, when I'm driving around, I listen to the Beatles channel.
Yeah. I mean, great. That's great music, right? I mean, you can't, every time you listen to it, even 60 years later, you still discover something new.
Yeah,
like something new in the background. You discover like something in the arrangement that you haven't heard before, and you're like, how could I miss this?
Yeah. Well, it's because we slowly grow and evolve as listeners as well as players.
Yeah, exactly.
We learn more about listening the more we do it. And I know the stuff that I learned when I was really young, when I hear it now, I think, God, I missed so much, because I didn't know what to listen for. I was too busy in that mindset of trying to figure out how to play this song. And, learning to be a good listener is a really important thing.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you say that, because maybe they listen to you.
The funny thing is, this is not to criticize, but one of the first things I notice when people play my songs is 9 times out of 10 they don't pick up on maybe it's not the right bass note, maybe it should be a major, not a minor,
right?
Or the other way around, and they miss certain things, which create drama in the song, strength in the song, and they, some people miss the detail.
Yeah,
the detail comes with you paying a lot of attention and understanding.
And your arrangements are so textured. They have so many layers. I mean, you're almost bringing the guitar to like piano level. Yeah. So when Yeah, sorry.
I learned when I was very young from listening to Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed and people like that
Yeah,
to make my arrangements interesting.
yeah.
Always play the melody as it was written, but make your arrangements interesting, particularly if there's repetition in the song. So next time you play the melody, make the chords a little different underneath, but still play the same melody. Things like that.
Yeah, actually, well, I meant to ask this later, but if we're talking about your arrangements, one thing that I was always curious about was your what's your approach to arrangement? I mean, how do you hear something in your mind? Do you start tinkering around with it? Do you play it? You change it along over the years? You
Right.
keep hmm?
You mean for writing?
For writing and for arranging. For example, your over the rainbow arrangement.
Right.
I don't think you never quite play it the same way twice.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that? Because your arrangements they're very smart arrangements. They're very technical arrangements, but they're also full of heart. So what's your process? How do you bring an arrangement to life? I mean, do you start with the harmony? Do you start with reharmonizing? Do you start with just tinkering around with it? You improvise?
Well, the very first rule when you're arranging a song is find the best key to play the song in,
Yeah, I'm
right?
with you on that.
So when I play Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I play it in
An
A.
A.
So what
Yeah,
I'm doing with that is I'm hearing the vocal in my head.
yeah.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
It's just a little anecdote there. I have a lesson on how to become a better musician without even touching your guitar. And the tip I give there is that you should always know the lyrics to the song that you're playing.
Very good,
And
Asa.
I gave you as an example. I just guessed just by listening. I said Tommy Emmanuel, for example, when he plays an arrangement, it's like his guitar is singing, right? That's because he knows the lyrics. And I
That's
was
right.
just I was just guessing, but I'm so happy that I was correct.
You're absolutely right. For instance, my arrangement of Close to You
Mhm.
um, is a classic example of I wanted to find the first of all the good key to play the song in. Then I went back and listened to the Carpenters version, which is the original, and then I decided how can I surprise the listener at every turn almost,
Mhm.
right? So I found so every chord changes unresolved and then it resolves.
Yeah.
And then I did they long to be. So it's close to you. There it is. Resolved and then
when you do a move like that,
That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. So
when you
that
when you
has, at every bar it has a surprise chord.
yeah. So you find those surprises. I mean, do you approach these surprises like consciously, or do you like have an idea in your mind, then you transcribe it on your guitar? I mean, because close to you is a little more. It's a little sweeter than all those moves that you do in Over the Rainbow. All those jazz transitions, for example.
I don't think of it as jazz. It's a beautiful song that the
Yeah,
world loves.
yeah.
That's it for me. It's still one of the most beautiful songs of hope.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, and Judy Garland sang that. Nobody has sung it like her. And Les Paul told me when he was working with Judy Garland at Carnegie Hall, he said when she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the entire audience were crying, the band were crying, and even she had tears rolling down her face when she sang. So that song means so much to so many people. And so, you know, I just try to find ways of embellishing the melody with chordal ideas and movement, but I never let anything get in the way of the melody.
Hmm. That's that. Yeah, that's a great tip.
And
That's
the
right.
harmonic breakdown in the second bridge is just to take people to another dimension kind of thing. And then it comes back in somewhere over the rainbow, you know, and the last verse is a little more dramatic. And then I slow it right down at the end. If happy little da 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 da, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm always
you're
thinking,
going for the like or the orchestral. You're going for like the orchestral feel. You want to be like an your guitar sounds like an entire orchestra.
that's the idea. Well, I never think like I'm a solo player. I think like a band when I'm playing. But you know, it's important for me to play those songs with all my heart and allow them to breathe. You know, so um, a song like "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" or "Imagine," you know, they deserve the best that you can give them
They,
because they're masterfully written and they're important songs in our world.
yeah. As you know, musicians sometimes get lost in this technical competition, and then you see, for example, there's this beautiful rendition of "My Ideal" by John Scofield. He plays it on an acoustic, and it's so beautiful and so delicate. And then there are a couple more guitar players, jazz guitar players, on YouTube who play the same song, "My Ideal," with all this technical pyrotechnics and everything, and then the song just gets lost.
It's lost, exactly. Yeah. And technique is your vehicle to help you express yourself, but it's not something that you need to go showing off, you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
And I tell people all the time, uh, my technique should be invisible. The music is the song is the star of the show.
yes, yes, yes. I couldn't agree more. That's like the you just quoted the Licknriff credo. That's what I keep telling people. I mean, your ear and your heart, it's a lot more important than your hands. I mean, the hands are a tool to convey what you feel inside.
That's right. but you still have to speak. And so when I play, it's my voice coming out through my guitar, and that's the important thing, you know. When people ask me, how can my son or my daughter get started doing what you do, and I always say, they've got to learn some good songs. That's what's important. You know, there's a million people out there who can play rings around me, but I can write a song and play it that will touch your heart. And I don't know where that came from, but it's there, and it's very important.
I think it comes from your heart. I think
Yeah.
it's like I don't remember who said it. I think it was Robert Frost who said that if the writer is surprised, if your own writing brings an emotion inside you, then it will bring the same emotion in the reader. So I think it's the same way with musicians.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm just turning my hearing aids up. There we go. I have hearing aids in, so. Yeah, I always trust my instincts. When I come up with a song, if it really moves me, I believe it's going to move you.
Yes,
But it has to move me first.
exactly. Yeah.
And I am hard to please.
And it's because something that I try to convey to my students all the time is something very similar, that you should feel the music. You should feel the music first. I don't forget about the audience for a second. It's you and your instrument. That your instrument is the tool. It's the tool to speak those emotions that you can't put in words.
Well, the other thing about that is the only way you're going to be able to feel your music is if you practiced it enough so that you're not thinking about what your hands are doing.
Yeah.
You are listening to the music and to the feeling that you're putting into it. That's how you set yourself free to feel the music, is you put in the practice so that you don't have to worry about what your hands are doing. Just play the song and pour all your attention and your energy and your love into the song, and that's how you do that.
What was when you were when you were becoming the Tommy Emmanuel that you all know today? How did you practice? What was your practicing routine? How did you bring yourself up to that level?
I still practice a lot, and I'm still working on everything, my skills, my time, and all that sort of stuff. But I practiced songs over and over 1,000 times. You know, I played them 1,000 times before I was getting happy with it. You know, you really need to practice and use repetition as your friend. You know, because with repetition, it'll train your hands to do what you need to do. Then you put your focus on the music and you're free. If you have to worry about your technique, then you're still not 100% in the music. You're in the process
Right.
of putting it together.
Right. And do you practice when you practice a new arrangement, or when you practice a song? Do you practice it very slowly at first, or do you practice it in full speed right from the get-go?
Oh, depends on the song. Mostly, I use a metronome.
Mhm.
And I sit and play the song with the metronome a few times, and then I play it without the metronome. Yeah, some songs I have to slow them down. Some songs I need to work on the tempo of it to get it to be at a good tempo. You know, for instance, a song like Game Show Rag, which I very rarely play, that's got to be, it's got to be that fast. Right. So to keep it at that tempo, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of power, and so you got to practice it up at that tempo. You know, if you slow it down, you can get it nice and clean and everything, but it loses its intensity.
Mhm.
So the song has to be intense,
Yeah.
and yet there are other tunes like that song has to be right in the groove, right in the pocket. And so, you know, that's what most of my music is about. You get the song in the pocket, and um, even the more gentle songs, like let's see, like this. So I'm I'm thinking like a drummer when I'm playing this song. So I can play that with the metronome, but I like playing it just on my own like that, because then I get to be the metronome myself. I move my body in a way so so forth.
Yeah.
And a song like that, once you get it in the groove, it just it feels so good to play, you know.
I mean, the music kind of feeds back to you, and like
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
so. Can I ask you a couple of questions regarding your unique sound and harmonies? I mean, getting to the technical aspect of the interview, and people, I bet people would like to get this opportunity to
Ask me whatever you need.
dig inside Tommy Emmanuel's mind. I mean, how often do you get that opportunity? So
That's a dangerous area.
I'm sure great art always comes from the darkness, right? So there are a couple of things that interest me, like as a musician. That Tommy Emmanuel's sound, that Tommy Emmanuel's soloing moment, that hammer-on slide pull-off sound.
Oh yeah.
Did it
Well,
did it come by accident, or was it intentional?
it's intentional, of course, um, but it comes from listening to singers. I'm trying to play like a singer, and I also have learned that you can overdo that, and you can understate it a little, so it's sweeter, you know. So when I play a melody like So I'm trying to play the melody like the singers, you know, and things like that. Always try to find a way of making it so it's like a singer, and I think that's the important thing. I I actually I don't want to hear somebody doing the guitar thing. I want to hear them singing the melody through the guitar, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, all the great singers do things with their voice that are beautiful to emulate.
yeah,
And right back to, Stevie Wonder and even that back to Frank Sinatra, where you might play the melody way behind the beat, you know, like something like that. You know, someone's going, so forth. Everybody has uh, uh, um, material that you can listen to and steal ideas from, you know. But you know, guys like Larry Carlton and Robin Ford and guys like that, they have a beautiful way of interpreting melody too, and you can learn a lot from them. George Benson's another great one
yeah,
for listen to what he has to say musically is phenomenal.
yeah. I mean, from my experience, you can learn from Larry Carlton, but I mean, I don't think anybody can learn from George Benson. I mean, there's only one George Benson.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
He stands alone. You're right.
yeah,
I agree with you. And
yeah. There's no. He can play like the most straightforward pentatonic box blues line, and yet he's gonna sound like nothing else. It's gonna.
yeah.
Yeah. So back to I want to go back like to the harmony thing,
Hmm.
because you have such, as you said, you always try to surprise the listener. You always
Yeah.
try to surprise the listener. And I remember that I transcribed your arrangement of Secret Love once,
Oh, okay.
and there was one chord there that just blew me away. Like it was
That one?
no, it was one of the augmented chords there. It's from the E string up. It's E, C sharp, A, F, and you have the G bass there.
Mm.
That chord.
Is it in the bridge or in the verse?
I think it's in the bridge,
Okay, so
and yeah, all those augmented chords there. I mean, where did you acquire that harmonic knowledge? I mean, I remember that I saw a video of you talking about Ted Green, but your chords sound different than Ted Green's. How did you acquire your harmonic language on the guitar? I mean, what was.
acquiring it. But what I did with Secret Love is that I went, I tried to think outside myself and outside the box.
Mhm.
I said, how would Lenny Bro or Ted Green approach? How would they
Yeah,
do this? You know, so that
that explains it.
so yeah. So I'm still playing the melody, but I was just trying to find chords that had power and character that would surprise the
Yeah.
listener, that would create a beautiful, unexpected thing, you
Yeah.
know. So I used a lot of those.
The moment you mentioned Lenny, bro, bro, it just put everything in place for me. I mean, yeah,
Well, I
it,
don't have the kind of knowledge that Lenny had. I don't have the kind of knowledge that John Schofield has and that kind of stuff. I had no training.
mhm,
I don't read music. I'm making this up. So I go looking for ways of until I find the chord. Just to find that took me ages just to get it right, and to find it. And there's a lot of risk involved in Secret Love
mhm,
because you can't miss a harmonic.
right.
If you do, it'll stick right out. So it's one of those songs that you've got to be so sure of yourself when you go out to play that song. And I can still remember the fear I felt the first night I played it, and I got through it. And I was so thrilled. I thought, okay, now I can play it every night. But I had to do this first night and get through the fear of being totally exposed. That's the thing about what I do that a lot of people don't even are aware of. They say they want to do what I'm doing. They want to be a solo acoustic guitar player, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, well, you better be okay about being naked on stage. Because when I'm up on stage, I'm completely naked. There's nothing, there's nowhere for me to hide. Everything is exposed and amplified. So everything has to be together. Just even my tuning, my timing, my sound, my arrangements, my abilities, the timing, every single thing is exposed. So I said, if you're okay about being naked on stage, then you'll be all right. But if you're afraid, you're going to struggle for a while, until you get through it.
Even though I'm pretty sure that even if uh, even if you're slightly out of tune, I mean, I don't think anybody will care.
I care. Yeah, tuning is everything to me.
Yeah.
It really is. Because my arrangements, everything's exposed. So, if I'm playing a chord like, and there's the melody, and I play that chord, it has to be, it has to be crystal clear and beautiful. So, everything, that's why practice is so important. Preparation for a show is so important.
How do you prepare for a show? How do you?
Well, I work backwards. I approach it like a soldier.
Mhm,
I'm thinking at 8 o'clock, I've got to be at my absolute best. How
mhm,
can I get there? Okay, got to have some rest. Got to have something good to eat. Got to change my strings. I got to do a sound check and be sure that everything's perfect and my sound is how I like it, and work with my sound man. And then before the show, I spend 20 minutes tuning. I tune, three guitars, and then I start playing some tunes, and then I decide what I'm going to start with, you know. And then I walk out and start playing, and I'm dead in tune. I'm well prepared. So that's what I do, and I make sure that I'm feeling as good as I can at 8 o'clock when I walk on stage.
mhm.
And once I play that first two or three songs, then we're off, and I go off into playing whatever I feel like then.
Mhm.
Um,
Because
but
you're
I
so
have
well
I
practiced
have a
that you're
Sorry?
Because you're so well practiced. You've practiced so hard that you just have it on the go. You can just whip
Totally.
out.
Yeah, I can just go into anything. And I'll be ready. Sometimes at sound checks, sometimes I play songs that I haven't been playing
Mhm.
just to run them down, you know. And then other times, sound check, I may do Hank Williams songs and sing, and or an Elvis Presley tune or something like that. I might do something completely different just to mix it up, you know.
Mhm.
But I test everything. I play some harmonics and make sure that I've got the mid range right and things like that, and that nothing's going to feed back and take off or whatever. And there we go. I test out all my guitars and play as if the audience are already in. That's how I play at Soundcheck. I don't waste time and I don't noodle around wasting time. I play songs like the audience is there, so my sound man knows what he's dealing with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No surprises. So, do you have any? There are some pieces. How do you keep some of those arrangements and some of those compositions fresh for you? I mean, playing it night after night for 10, 20 years, 30 years, there are some you still play some songs that you were playing back like 20
Yeah,
years ago. So
classical guys.
how do you keep them fresh for
I
yourself,
vary
not for the audience, for yourself? I mean,
for myself,
yeah,
exactly. Well, things like with classical gas,
yeah.
I'll one night I'll play it pretty much as the arrangement that I've been playing, but then the next night I might go into, or and or I might go into a drum solo, or
Mhm.
um, it really depends. So but I like classical gas, and I like playing it, and it's challenging and it's fun, and the audience love it. So it's always exciting for me.
Mhm.
I never get tired of like, oh, I don't want to play that song again. I very rarely ever get like that.
Mhm.
So I I vary, like with my original songs. I vary it from night to night. Sometimes I play more slow songs than fast ones, depending on the crowd.
Mhm.
But there's one thing that I've learned that I want to hand on to you and your students and all that, is that the formula for failure is trying to please everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, you can't please everybody, um, because some people want to hear you play, full out, full of energy and all your stuff. And then other people really like to hear you play ballads. They say, oh, he plays too many fast songs. I want to hear some slow ones. So the next time I come to town, I remember that this person wrote to my website saying, I wish Tommy would slow down and play more ballads. So the next time I come back to town, I play more ballads. And then the next day, there's a message on my thing saying, I don't know what's wrong with Tommy, but he just doesn't have the energy he used to have. And there it is. There it is. Me trying to please somebody, and it just doesn't work. I've got to please myself. I've got to do what I believe is that I should be doing tonight.
The audience is there so you can project onto them your feelings, your music, your emotions, your energy.
Well, yeah, I want to take them places and surprise them, and that's really what entertainment is all about. Surprise me. That's entertainment.
Do you ever improvise on stage? I mean, for example, if you play, for example, a blues piece, would you improvise, or you stick to?
A lot. I improvise every night.
Mhm.
Half of my show is improvised.
Awesome.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, when I play um, a tune like Guitar Boogie,
Yeah.
the whole thing is improvised. You know, I quote the melody, but then I everything else is
Yeah,
improvised.
actually, that's what I had in mind. I had Guitar Boogie in mind, but what I meant was with fingerstyle pieces. Do you improvise
Yeah.
during?
Yeah, in Deep River Blues or a 9 Pound Hammer, songs like that,
Mhm.
I'll totally improvise. But I mean, a song like Angelina,
Yeah,
there's no room for improvise. It doesn't need it. You
right,
know, I need to play that song how I wrote it and just play it with all the feeling that I can. I don't believe that it needs anything else.
right, right.
Hmm.
Right. Mm,
So
I was just wondering,
yeah,
you know, because
improvising is
you
one of
were,
my favorite things.
yeah.
You know. And sometimes I practice improvising, where I'll start in E and do a 12-bar cycle, then I go to F, then F sharp, then G, and I'll move up. And I'll just keep going. And if I mess up, I'll just keep going, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Is
uh,
there a particular key that you find particularly difficult, like exceptionally difficult on the guitar?
uh, you mean to improvise?
To improvise, to write on, even though, if you write, you can always practice it, but for
Right.
improvisation, for fingerstyle improvisation, for example, because
Oh,
we
well,
all improvise in E and A and D and G, but
yeah, B and A flat and keys like that are not easy. But, um, Chet wrote a tune called "To Be or Not to Be," which I recorded with him, and that's in the key of B. I'll
Mhm.
just play a little bit of it. So there's there's B. So there's a song in B. They're not an easy key to play in, but it does give you open notes, and you get that. You get those that open E note on the top.
Mhm.
It, as Chet used to say, it's purdy.
It's just incredible that you just have it on the go. Like I can wake you up in the middle of the night, like break into your house, break into your house, wake you up, and you'll be able to play anything, like at gunpoint. Like play me this, and you'll play it. You'll just play
Well, I can try.
it. Just unbelievable, amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much. It was
Thank
it
you.
was an absolute pleasure. Just before we finish, do you have any advice, like something that you yourself struggled with when you were just starting to play when you're just beginning, just the beginning of your journey, your musical journey? What was there something that like was difficult for you, and just your personal frustrations? I mean, I think people would love to know what Tommy Emmanuel was frustrated with when he just started out playing.
Well, I think in the early days for me, it was frustrating to find other people that I could play with.
Hmm.
Um, but I had a brother who was a wonderful guitar player, and so him and I played together a lot. But what I think is important for people to know is that one of the most important things you can do is develop your ear.
Yeah.
Know what an A sounds like, and then relate D to A and C to A and B to A, and develop your ear so you recognize chord patterns, you recognize what notes are, and all that sort of stuff. Give yourself time. People are always in a hurry. They want everything now, and life doesn't work like that. You know, I've been playing for more than 60 years, and I feel like I'm just beginning.
Hmm.
And what I know, I'm happy to hand on, especially to somebody like you. I'm happy to hand on anything that I can give you to help. But you need to know that it takes time, and you'll learn more about the guitar, and you'll be more interested if you have songs to learn.
Yes.
Learn new songs all the time,
Yeah.
and you know, don't be over worrying about technique and everything yet. Get some good songs to learn and practice them, and get used to working with a metronome and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, it's important.
You have no idea how happy I am that to hear you say that, because that's something that I keep telling everybody. You keep developing your ears and don't worry about the technique. If you enjoy what you're doing, the technique you'll get there.
Will build if you keep, yeah, you just keep working on it.
Yeah,
This
you'll
is
get there.
the thing, and this is real life, you know. I only play because I love it. I don't care about money and all that sort of stuff. It's important, but it's not what my focus is. My focus is on playing good music and how can I get better and better. That's it, you know. And when I play, something happens to you. I don't know what it is. It's not me, but it's something that happens when I play, and that's why I play.
Yeah, music transcends words.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it is. Yeah.
Great to spend time with you today, Asaf.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure, and really thank you. And
Keep licking and riffing.
yeah, licking and riffing. Yeah.
That's right, brother. All the best.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.